Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Thank you for joining me in the other half of this lecture. So, we were talking about the constant practicing the rules, the guidance given by Quran, and that is actually understanding the Quran. Those who say that I read Quran and I have read so many tafsir and I have done this, I have done that, and it makes me a great scholar. But when you look at them and you know few rules of Quran, you know few provisions of Quran, and you see, if he had read this, then he should have practiced it as well. Allama said that, Guftar ka ghazi ban to gaya, kirdar ka ghazi ban na saka. It's only speech, words are being spoken. But where is the character? Where is the amal? Living with the Quran means, and it says, living with the Quran is applying the rules of Quran in your personal life, in your public life, and everywhere wherever Quran asks you to do that. And how could we do that? Who else would have been the greatest exponent of the rules and principles of Islam to teach us how they must be applied in practice? None other than the one upon whom the Quran was revealed, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That is where you learn Quran, how to apply it. Somebody asked Hazrat Aisha Siddiqa radiyallahu anha, how did you find Prophet in life? And she said, Innahu khulqul Quran. He was a practicing Quran, a Quran, practical Quran. Now you can see who taught us. Who first of all taught us what are the rules, and how then who taught us how they should be applied. None other than Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And how many people? And that was why Quran Hakim in Surah Al-Ahzab said that لَقَدْ قَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. And humne, indeed, we have put the role model of life for you in the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He is our role model to follow. But what we have done? We have gone astray. We follow this, we follow that, we follow, give reference of somebody else to this and to that. But only in speeches we say Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, but not in practice. I remember in making a speech to a very big gathering once, then I said what Quran wanted to achieve was this, to make the entire believers Muhammad. They should follow the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and that was what Quran gave the guidance to the believers, and in the Quran to the entire mankind. I recently in Surah Asbab I refer to that, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, O Prophet, we have sent you for the entire mankind as a Bashirun wa Nazira. وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. And often people do not understand that. Prophet Muhammad came as a messenger for the entire mankind, not only for believers. And that's why I referred to you the surah in surah 57 and 58 ayah 57 and 58 in surah Yunus, that Quran came as a guidance, as an advice to the entire mankind. And then those who will become believers, they will benefit it. They benefited from more and more and more. As much you believe in it, with the view that I have to put it in practice and live with the Quran, live by the Quran, then the true spirit of the Quran will reach to you, and then the true meanings of fal yafrahu, so rejoice with happiness, will come to you. And then it will, otherwise it won't come. Because Quran says that, وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ مِمَّا يَجْمَعُونَ, and it is better than all what you accumulate. So the happiness which you gather from having 2 houses, beautiful palace, lot of gold on your wife's body and on yourself, and the bank balances and this and the other, they can't bring you that happiness if you have understood the one ayah karima of Quran Hakim and have then lived with it. And I refer you to that ayah karima as an example. In Surah Al-Mulk, the Quran says, الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا. The one being, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who created death and life. And why? So that to test you, which one of you do the good and the best and the great deeds. That's living with Islam. Amal. Ayyukum ahsan amal. Which one of you will do the good deeds? Now Imam Shafi rahmatullah alayhi, when he was addressing to his disciples, his pupils, one day in the mosque, and he came to Surah Al-Mulk, and a moment of great aspiration came in him, and he said, this very ayah karima, الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا. If only this one verse had come in the form of Quran, that would have done the job. Because our lives are a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And test is for this, that which one of us do the good and great job? Who shows mercy to his relations? Who shows respect to his neighbor? Who walks on the earth as a noble person, gently and with humility? Who greets his guests with open arms and say, whatever I have at home, I place it before you. We are tested throughout the day, throughout the night, and all our life, which is very simple and very short. As Quran says, what do you think of your lives? They are so small. It is like a blow of wind which came and gone. And that's how far, and Quran time and again tells us, says, well, how long did you stay in the world? Maybe a half day or more than a day. That's all our life is here. And when it comes to practice Quran Hakim and understanding it, and we do not heed the power and the rationale behind that, And then the importance of applying in our practical lives. We are failures. Well, we have not satisfied our Prophet's teachings. That's what he wanted to give us. And just on that point, I just want to say this. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, upon whom the Quran was revealed, and I have told you that he was the greatest and the first exponent and the he shows the biggest manifestation of the application of Quranic rules, Amar and Nahi, in it. Do not do this and do this, do not do this and do this, all of it. Throughout in his life, an orphan who was supported by his grandfather first, and then his uncle, Hazrat Sayyidina Abu Talib. And then after that, where was his support? Because his wife almost went the same time when Hazrat Abu Talib went. It fell on his shoulders. And he, being the chosen man from the history of mankind, the greatest ever man to have walked on the face of the earth, did it single-handedly. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminded him, O Prophet, I, my angels, and your companions helped you, but you were the one who did it. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam did it, and he did it in such a beautiful way that 1440 years gone by, and even after that, I, sitting in Europe, having been educated by the European universities, still saying, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the guidance, the wisdom, the philosophy you gave to the mankind, and the practical show which you showed in by your conduct and by your words of mouth was such that it cannot be ignored until the day of judgment, and even after that, your name will always be higher and higher. No, so you see, just one verse he said, Imam Shafi, he said that verse was enough. That Allah has created us, the life and the death and life, to see amongst us which one of us do the good deeds, the great deeds. That is enough. That's what it is. But you see, that was one thing practical. But there was more to it. In Surah Al-Baqarah, وَلَا يَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُم مُّصِيبَةٌ قَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. And there Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, and we will definitely test you by putting you in fear, which was going to come in our lives from time to time. You have lived with fear. What's going to happen? This state of uncertainty. Oh, this has happened. What is going to happen to my child, to myself, my wife, my relations, my neighbors, or my country? We will put you in fear. We will starve you, not to give you anything. Without food, you will have to go. There are times, so many times in life, people have gone through absolutely without food. And we will damage and provide, do losses in your belongings, your chattels, other things, your possessions, your lives, by way of taking some away from you, or take your health away, or samarat and give you losses in your provisions, not to provide you so much that you can comfortably have on the table with your family and eat. And then when we will be testing you with these tests, and why were they coming, I will explain. Then, وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ, and then the good tidings, good news is for those who are patient and who stand steadfastly. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explaining itself, the Quran giving the explanation of its own verses. In the next verse, الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ قَالُوا إِنَّ لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. Those people upon whom the calamity strikes, the tests come, and they find themselves into difficulties and surrounded by calamities. They are the ones who say, indeed, everything is going to return to the Lord who sent it. And that reminds me time and again to see the very concept running from start to end, from Malik Yawmiddin to the rest of the Quran. Lahu ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard. Indeed, lillahi ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard. In so many concepts, and being He, the Malik, to the end. Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas, malikin nas, ilahin nas. Throughout the Quran, I give you one little advice here. You open the Quran from anywhere. From anywhere. Just read, and you will find nothing but the glorification of the Lord. It is His Quran. He sent it. And He wanted to be known as Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam advocated the case of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the mankind, that how must He be understood, and how must He alone be worshipped, and how must He alone be asked for help, and how must He be considered as the master of the entire universe, the master of our past, present, and future. That is correct. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala added on all this Quran, because He had created a very wonderful thing called a human being with His own hands. And He then said to the angels who were there, that once I blow my spirit in him, then all you go down to prostrate to him. Such is the status of the man in the universe when he was created. Have we lived up to the Lord's initial intentions to be superior to every other thing other than Him? Or have we degraded ourselves and we have littered ourselves with greed, power, hunger, dishonesty, makars, planning and plotting, and all these sorts of things? And Quran says that once you got into that, you became worse than animals. We got to live by the Quran. We have to live by the Quran in order to gain the status of a human being. And which human being? The one which was told to us and which was presented to us in the form and shape of Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The citadel of peace and reconciliation, that prophet who superseded all other philosophies, of course attesting them, confirming them, and saying, now this one will not only give you the affirmation of the previous ones, but also to tell you in Quran Hakim that there is a space. Well, which other book has talked about space? And then inviting the mankind in Surah Ar-Rahman, Ya ma'ashar al-jinni wal-insi, O you, the groups of men and jinns, in istata'tum min aqtari samawati wal ard, if you want to attempt to leave the boundaries of the earth and the skies, fanfuzu, then leave. La tanfuzuna illa bisultan. You will not be able to leave them without power. Sultan, without the power. And you just sit back and think, 1400 years ago, more than 1400 years ago, Quran revealing that the mankind and jinn leaving the boundaries of the earth and the skies. And Allah says, leave, but you won't be able to leave it without power. And those who really follow the space research and shuttles and rockets going to the space, they see how much power is used in order to make the shuttle or the rocket to leave the gravity of the earth and then go out. And when it is in the space, then it is going automatically. It doesn't need any force there. It's amazing, isn't it? That was spoken to in Quran Hakim. So this is why Quran came, to give everything what was not given in the previous books, because from there onwards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to work with the knowledge, with the word, with the language, and with the books, not with the miracles. There was no need for it. And the best of the miracles which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was the Quran itself, embodying everything what was going to happen until the day of judgment, and what had happened from when the universe was created. Amazing. In a small little 6,666 verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave so much to the mankind. Unfortunately, it's we who played in the hands of the Taghuts. Taghuts, I have been researching what should be the exact meaning of it. People come closer to satanic powers, satanic attitudes and things like that. But it is beyond that. We must understand what is Taghut, because currently the whole globe has been clutched in the claws of the Taghut. You go and see. Everywhere. Blood is shedding, the neighbor is hitting the neighbor, the families are disintegrated, people are just running, not caring for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's orders and His laws or anything, just going on their own with their own volitions and just trying to get richer overnight and do things like that, and not knowing exactly how must they live their lives. That is Taghut. And that is from within ourselves, which is based on our own need, our own greeds, and our own wishes. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about that in Quran Hakim. That you are mushrikeen in the sense that you are worshipping your own wishes. You have made a partner in life. You should have been worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and obeying His order. Ati Allah wa ati Rasul. Obeying Allah and His apostles, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And what you are doing? Abandoning them. And that is why Quran Hakim has embodied one particular ayah karima in Surah Al-Furqan. وقال الرسول يا ربي إن قوم اتخذوا هذا القرآن مهجورا. Prophet will say on the day of judgment. Prophet will say on the day of judgment, what will he say? He will cry out, وَقَالَ الرَّسُولُ يَا رَبِّي, oh my Lord. It will be a cry from Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. قال الرسول يا ربي إنا قوم اتخذوا. Indeed, this nation of mine who pretended to be known as Muslims, the followers of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there is no exception. The ummah includes mashayikh, shuyukh, the scholars and everybody. It doesn't exempt anybody. Because they are the ones who know it more than us. Inna qawm ittakhadhu hadha al-Qur'an mahjura. This nation of mine, which they said that we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we do that, they abandoned the Quran. They were not living with it, they were not living by it, and they were not living under it. They were living over it. That's what the current scenario of those who say that Quran is our book. This is their true and perfect plight. The plight which has triggered on the day of judgment for their leader, the greatest man ever to have walked on the face of the earth, the greatest philosopher, with divine revelations, with spiritual connections, with such moments in life where he could, while sitting here on the earth, could communicate in the four corners of the universe, could receive and send messages. With that beauty which he had, he were to cry on the day of judgment. وَقَالَ الرَّسُولُ يَا رَبِّي إِنَّ قَوْمِ اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَهْجُورًا. Oh my Lord, these my followers abandoned the Quran. They did not live with it. Thank you so much. May Allah make us to follow Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and live by the Quran. Thank you.